Welcome everyone, this is Andre's Restart, and this time we are talking about the possibility of there being an announcement at Game Awards 2023 from Nintendo. Why do I think this is going to happen? Well, that's what we're talking about today. But before going forward, let me point out that we are aiming to reach 50,000 subscribers, so if you do enjoy my content, please subscribe and hit the notification bell, and enjoy the ride as we talk about Nintendo every day. So every year there seems to be some level of speculation about some type of Nintendo announcement at the Game Awards. I know I've been a part of that speculation pretty much every year, and this year I am entering the fray again because I do think something is happening. Now there's a few different things going on right now that have a lot of Nintendo fans really wondering about an imminent announcement. We've been talking about some type of Zelda remake this year. Recently, Dr. Sircon Toto put out ZR 2023, which seems to be hinting of some type of Zelda announcement for this year. I personally doubt it would be coming out this year unless maybe it's a Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD Shadow Drop. But regardless, this person has teased us Zelda info in the past, so I'm inclined to think something could be happening. But when would it happen? There's still this month of November and December, but with the Game Awards around the corner, I am thinking maybe something Zelda might show up then. But then there's also this conversation about Switch 2. There's been a lot of speculation that some type of major Nintendo announcement is going to happen before the end of the year. There's the Amiibo restocks, there's the recent privating of the Switch First Look trailer, and these seem to be signs pointing towards some type of announcement coming soon. So maybe Nintendo is saving some type of announcement for the Game Awards, even if it's not Zelda related. Could be Switch 2 related, which might be an even bigger deal. Or maybe they're both tied to each other, because if there's a Switch 2 trailer, maybe it includes something Zelda in there. So if a major Nintendo announcement is going to be happening this year, I'm definitely thinking the Game Awards is a likely place where this would occur. But I know a lot of people think that there isn't much to the Game Awards when it comes to Nintendo announcements, but I really don't think that's fair to say, even in the slightest. Looking at every single year, there's been substantial Nintendo announcement stuff. So 2014, they showed off gameplay for Zelda U. 2015, that was the year that Satoru Iwata passed, so there wasn't any major announcements then, but they had a tribute to Iwata, so that's very understandable and respectable. 2016, just a few short months before the release of Breath of the Wild, they put out Treehouse gameplay of Breath of the Wild. 2017, where Breath of the Wild was going to win Game of the Year, they showcased the Champions Ballad DLC and also announced that it was coming out. It was shadow dropped at the Game Awards that year, but it wasn't just that was shown off from Nintendo. They also announced Bayonetta 1 and 2 coming to the Nintendo Switch and put out a teaser announcement of Bayonetta 3. 2018 saw the announcement of Joker coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and also Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. 2019 they announced Bravely Default 2 and teased No More Heroes 3. And what's interesting about this 2019 year, this is the year that Reggie Fils-Aimé stepped down. And there's been a thinking that the reason why there's been so many Nintendo announcements at the Game Awards is because of the relationship between Reggie Fils-Aimé, a prior Nintendo of America president, and Jeff Keighley, the host for the Game Awards. But 2020 still saw the announcement of Sephiroth for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And then in 2021, there weren't any major new Nintendo published titles showcased in any real way, unless you count Monster Hunter Rise, which is made by Capcom but was a Switch exclusive, and we got the trailer showcasing the Sunbreak expansion to Monster Hunter Rise. And then the next year, 2022, last year, we got announcements for Fire Emblem Engage's DLC and also a Nintendo published title that would be coming out in March, Bayonetta Origins. So going over the history here, I think it's quite clear that every year there should be some type of expectation of a Nintendo related announcement. It won't always be something that you might be a big fan of because there's a variety of things that Nintendo appeals to, and it may not necessarily be a Nintendo published product, but it will be something significant for the Nintendo fanbase. Even in the year when there wasn't a game announcement, it was still a tribute to Satoru Iwata, which I would say is pretty significant. And while I do think you can make a fair argument that since Reggie left, while we have had Nintendo related announcements, they haven't been as significant, I think you can maybe make the argument that it doesn't necessarily have to do with Reggie stepping away from Nintendo, but more so having to do with Nintendo not having a brand new next generation system to really hype up. In the years of 2016 through 2018, these big years where we had major announcements from Nintendo, these were the years that were centered around the launch of the Switch. 2016, the year beforehand, 2017 being the launch year, and 2018 being the follow-up to the launch year. So that was a time where Nintendo really wanted to foster a lot of excitement for the Switch, their new platform, and showcase some major products in front of a large audience. With Switch 2 coming out next year, at least reportedly by a number of different sources, there is reason to think that maybe Nintendo wants to start putting out major products in front of a large audience. Now, some might think this may mean a Switch 2 teaser, and we have seen companies showcase hardware before, like Xbox. But that doesn't mean Nintendo will be comfortable with showcasing the Switch 2 this early. They may want to wait until next year, just in the hopes of maximizing as much sales as they can for this year. While I think they could get away with announcing Switch 2 at some point during these holidays, there's plenty of reason to think that they can wait. But with all this talk of some type of Zelda announcement coming soon, maybe they'll be showcasing that. I've been making the argument as of late that maybe we're getting a major Zelda remake, and maybe they could announce a Zelda remake for Switch, but it may also be a cross-gen title, and it may be something that could be very exciting that will have visual enhancements on the Switch 2. So just making people aware of something like this, even if it's not showcased for Switch 2, it will still be showcased for Switch, and when Switch 2 is announced and people are made aware that there's an other version for Switch 2, that will bring in more eyes for that platform. But it doesn't have to be a Zelda announcement. There's another game that I've been waiting for some news on for some time, and I believe it's absolutely ready to be showcased, and that is Metroid Prime 4. We talked about earlier in the year how we heard about how the game is basically complete. What that means in terms of them showcasing it, that remains to be seen, but I'm not the only person who's heard that the game is ready to be shown off. It's been discussed by various other places. It's really just a matter of Nintendo waiting for the right time, and maybe the Game Awards would be that right time. The same argument I was making for maybe a Zelda remake could be made for Metroid Prime 4, a brand new title that's been anticipated for many years, that is believed to be something fairly ambitious from Nintendo, and is very much speculated to be a cross-gen title, especially because Nintendo may be looking to expand the Metroid fan base, and the Metroid series has always been considered hardcore-centric, and the Game Awards typically show hardcore-centric kinds of games. So Game Awards 2023 may actually prove to be the ideal place to showcase the first ever gameplay of Metroid Prime 4. These are all possibilities, and perhaps what we get isn't something as exciting as a Zelda remake or Metroid Prime 4, maybe it's DLC for Pikmin 4, which I still would be pretty happy about, or maybe it's another surprise announcement that may not be as significant as a Zelda or a Metroid, but still something that's being published by Nintendo that's pretty good, like Bayonetta Origins last year. But based off the history, there's always been something relevant for Nintendo fans, and I don't think this year is going to be any different. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. This is Andre's Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.